something that was so big on my heart, and I was just sharing with these guys, was I had a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety and insecurity.
About what?
I think, I guess maybe not, just the insecurity of being.
On today's special edition of Reaching for Answers, we are on the road and into the woods as we head out to Our Lady of Mount Caramel's Adventure Camp and Retreat Center, along with Dry Bones Ministry, to interview a very special guest.
Hey, we just showed up here at Dry Bones Ministry.
Our Lady of Mount Carmel Camp. Are we blessed to be here on this beautiful day?
We got an invite. We're up here for free. It's not costing us any money. We just showed up.
This was free?
Father Freedy's over there.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah. So this is another episode of...
Welcome to the road.
No. Reaching for Answers.
Reaching for Answers. Is that, what is this show? Jordan, what is this show?
Reaching for Answers.
I have no idea at this point.
And here's Father Joe Freedy, right? Now,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for having
We've been
us.
talking about him in just about every testimony we have done so far. So we're going to now put a face with all the stuff we've heard about him.
Yeah, so what are we going to do today?
We are going to take a tour of the camp, share about our stories, I think, talk a lot about brotherhood and what the Lord's done and doing in our lives.
And talk about your needs and what we can do here.
Yeah.
And know, Father, that you're spreading there's a lot of fruit that's come from your contact with a whole bunch of us that were involved with Emmaus and still are. So we appreciate you.
And I'm always grateful for my time with the Emmaus guys. Whether I'm going there or just being with you guys out, it's always blessed. So
We're
thanks.
going to try not to preach, but what are you going to do?
Yeah,
It is what it is.
That's right.
Are we in the choir?
We're in the choir.
Oh, we're in the choir.
Yeah, I'm psyched. I'm excited you guys are here. I'm excited we got a beautiful day. So this is the camp. You guys are going to get a great tour of it. It's called Our Lady of Mount Carmel Adventure Camp and Retreat Center is the long name, but this is really cool. So I want to share this with you guys and everybody who's going to be watching. But Carmel in Hebrew comes from Karem El. El in Hebrew means God. Think of the angel Gabriel, Mikael, Michael, Raphael. And Carmel means the garden of God. So, and Mount Carmel is so significant, as you guys know from the scriptures, right? It's where Elijah fights the prophets of Baal, where God fights the prophets of Baal, and he brings Israel back to true worship. So it's really significant. It's also on that mountain range where Elijah gets away from the noise and the clutter of the city that just, fills our lives, fills our own hearts. And he hears the voice of God, not in the drama, not in the big, the lightning and everything else, but in the still whispering wind, right? So it's significant for that reason.
And there's a really cool story about how you ended up naming it that, and some of those God incidental moments, those affirmations that brought this about. So we're going to talk about those, where we've been. But as you pull out now and start the tour, we're going to weave in your life story. So I want you to start back when you were a kid. You obviously weren't thinking about being a priest, or were you? But let's talk about that as we drive, and then you tell us what you want to point out, and we'll go from there.
Great, yeah.
So how big is the camp? How many acres?
Yeah, 120 acres. And right now we got 160 kids up here from Central. We had a bunch of kids from one of our
Central Catholic here in Pittsburgh.
That's right. St. LaSalle was up yesterday with a bunch of their kids. So more and more groups are starting to use it.
What part of town are we in?
We're in Volant, right, which is close to Westminster. It's on the very edge of the Diocese of Pittsburgh. Its closest town would be Newcastle. And I'm fortunate my assignment is Elwood City. So I'm about, what is it? You've been there 25 minutes from the camp. So it's pretty cool. But 120 acres, and most of it is forest. We got a bunch of buildings, but the road what we're driving on now is it's the lower road.
This isn't the road from Emmaus, is it?
Yeah. It's similar to the road from Emmaus.
It could be. All right.
It's definitely rocky enough to be the road from Emmaus.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to bear with us on the vibration.
Yeah.
But this is the coolest place on the planet.
Take whatever medicine you take for going on the ocean.
There we go.
But yeah, it's a fun, this is just the best road to me because we're really getting into the woods, but this is really cool. I don't know if you guys fish at all, but I grew up at South Hills, with your son, Bethel Park. I grew up farm fishing in Peters Township, big bass sitting up there, but this is trout. So we're going to see the Neshannock Creek is one of the best trout streams in western Pennsylvania. They just so happen to stock it about a quarter mile north in the town of Volant. And so all the fish end up on our property, which is, I didn't buy the camp because it's great fishing.
I think you did. I don't know. Talk to me about being a kid.
So grew up I'm the youngest of 5, right? 2 older brothers, 2 older sisters, and awesome Catholic family, rosary a lot, mass all the time. It was not optional, like when I'm growing up. But to be honest, I didn't really understand my faith. You've heard me talk about this 1,000 times, but like the why behind the what, especially in Catholicism. I think we're really good at knowing what to do, right, as Catholics, but often we don't know why we're doing what we're doing. And in anything, it helps out, whether you're playing sports or it's like, why do we have to do this, Coach? Well, if he gives you the why behind what we're doing, it just makes it a lot more meaningful. You can get into it more. So I didn't really understand the faith growing up. And I often talk about having a conversion later on in life, which was a reconversion. But my parents did have a dynamic relationship with God. But the kind of the central piece of Mass every Sunday to me, just speaking honestly, it was boring. And I think that's a lot of people's experience. I go to Mass and hear these readings. The readings aren't self-explanatory a lot of times. So it's like, what? And then a priest would be preaching.
Did you go to Catholic school or did you go to CCD? What did you do?
I went to CCD most of the time, a little bit of Catholic school, but the CCD was a little bit like, sometimes we reduce Jesus to like a really nice guy who wants us to be nicer. And so that, it's like, don't litter and don't swear. And it's like, well, that's not real attractive. It's like, then you read the Gospels and you're like, what? Like that is, every page of the Gospel is like fire and action and passion and mercy and love and heartbreak. And, it's like, I'm like, why didn't you introduce me to this guy? Like, I don't know who that other guy was you were talking about, but that ain't him. So.
And you're playing basketball and football. You're a kid.
Yeah, I'm sports. Sports.
So you weren't from the beginning thinking, I got a calling and I'm going to be a priest.
So,
or were you?
Straight up honest, I was not a youth group kid. I was not a play Mass at home kid. But I knew from the time I thought about that I was going to be a priest.
Oh, you did?
I did. But it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be, people ask me like, hey, you going to play in the NFL or something like that? And I'd be like, no. I wasn't out about it. It wasn't like, something real explicit. So it was there, but it was like, well, I know I'm going to do that a long time from now, so I got time. It's like, I'll do whatever I want.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So we can get your past behind you,
yeah.
All right? You're playing football at Buffalo,
yeah.
Right? You got the potential to potentially go to the NFL, etc. Maybe not.
No.
Was it Akron? Was it? I thought
they were the enemy.
Okay.
These guys were dirty.
So there must have been either a God incidental moment, an affirmation, something where you were going, well, I'm in Buffalo and I'm a football player and you're a quarterback on the team. You're the leader of the team.
Yeah.
There must have been something that said, guess what? I'm going in to the ministry.
Yeah, and I think,
what happened?
In a certain way, it's a classic story. It's like the encounter with the not enough. Like, how am I, like, all these things are lining up. I got the girl, I have the football, I've got I'm like, I wasn't, this wasn't Alabama or something, it was Buffalo, so I wasn't some kind of celebrity, barely winning any games. But
if you're the quarterback on a team in Buffalo, at least you're the man.
I felt like the man, at least in my own head. But I think it was like the encounter with, I'm still not satisfied. Like, the God-sized hole, the classic, there's gotta be more. And the anxiety and the fear. Something that was so big on my heart, and I was just sharing with these guys, was I had a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety and insecurity.
About what?
I think, I guess maybe not fear, just the insecurity of being. like just not
as a human being, not as being a priest.
Right.
We're talking about you just had fear and anxiety.
Yeah, so that played a big part when I was a kid.
And that resonates with kids today, particularly today.
Yeah, and I've been to the schools talking so much about this, but I've even at 46 years old now, I still battle with anxiety and insecurity. You guys asked me how I was doing before, and I was like, to be honest, I'm struggling. And it's like, that doesn't mean I'm struggling in my faith. That doesn't mean, but just being a human being. It's like I've learned over the years, and I've learned and I've not learned. It's like that the Lord doesn't come so much to take away all suffering. Because if he did, we'd all kind of say, he's not doing a great job, Like he comes to take away sin. And he comes to redeem our suffering and make it meaningful. Sometimes he does take it away. Sometimes our friend is cured of cancer, and the power of prayer is still the power of prayer. But I think what I'm learning in my life, and I don't know if it's maturity, if it's getting older, is, I begged him to take away my anxiety for my whole life. And I still sometimes do. But I realized recently, actually about a year ago on retreat, like, union with the crucified and risen Christ is the source of our greatest joy. And so if he would have taken all my suffering away and just made me a secure guy that never has any, problems or awkwardness, or he would have taken away the avenue that led to greatest union with him. Because it's not my strength and I was a big tough football player and I give the talks and blah 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 that's united me to Christ. It's my poverty. And for whatever I project, people are always like, you get anxious and you get afraid. I'm poor. I'm just poor and I'm needy. And the Lord, in a certain sense, has allowed me to be needy my whole life. And poor my whole life.
We find it's a common denominator in almost all of the podcasts we've done so far. That every one of them have had that same feeling where it's almost like you don't learn anything good out of good.
Yeah.
But it's only when you get down to it and you need something and you realize you're not in charge.
Yeah.
That you open your heart and you open your mind to God.
Yeah. What's the great, I forget the praise and worship song. It's something like, our weakness brings me to my knees, helps me see my need for thee. C.S. Lewis, right? What does he say? He says, God whispers to us in our consolation, and he shouts to us in our pain.
Ah, nice.
God, our pain is God's megaphone to rouse a sleeping world. It's like, it's a lot easier for me to crawl into the chapel and to be on my knees when I'm hurting. When I'm doing well, it's like, I'll touch base with you, God. Yeah, I'm kind of good.
Yeah.
I just think it's really interesting because I've heard you speak and been at the masses, and you never would think that this person is anxious. And I know you've heard this before, or this person is going through anything. And I think a lot of us, you can't see what the other person is going through.
Amen.
And
everybody's got a story.
So we're coming out to this clearing, and I always like to share the story of some real providential things that happened. So we're getting to this clearing here, creeks to our back, and then got this gas line, which kind of is a really cool natural hike for us. But, before this whole thing launched, I didn't know what I was doing, and I was up all night, and it kind of came crucial not to buy this land, but some land. And so I was up all night, got up, out of my bed real early in the morning, went into the chapel, and I just said to the Lord, Lord, you have to let me know. I am dying here. Do you want me to buy land? Do you want me to buy this land?
Did you know about this land at the time you were praying?
I knew about it, but I wasn't set on it. And I knew, the time came, do we launch this project or not? And I opened my daily devotional, and I'm desperate. And I just said to the Lord, again, do you want me to buy this land? And literally the line said, go and take possession of the land I have given you. It will be a place of many blessings for all who go there.
Now that's an affirmation.
I always joke around saying, yes, Lord, but give me a sign. You know, it's like, so that happened. As we're going past, there's some, archery here, right by the groundhog. It'd be perfect timing. Back there we have some axe throwing, and then we're coming up to a fun place here called Challenge Valley that the kids all hike down to, and there's a bunch of different obstacles that they have to go on and do. So I'll continue with the Providence, but it was like, okay, I know we have to buy land, but Lord, is it Volant or is it somewhere else? Is it Volant or somewhere else? I had visited about 15 properties as potential properties for us to buy. And I'm driving down 65, and I'm praying deeply, and I'm kind of closing my eyes a little bit as I'm driving, a little bit desperate again. You'll see desperation as a theme in my life, and so I stopped real suddenly coming up to traffic, and I almost hit the car in front of me, but I stopped right before, and I kind of picked my head up, and I looked at their license plate, and it said right in front of me, Volant, and I was like, okay. Wow. And then the last fun, it's a 2x4, and then the last fun thing was I was on that same road, it's a providential road for me, and I was like, okay, I know, God, you told me we're supposed to buy land, you told me it's got to be Volant, and I knew I was going to call it Our Lady of Mount Carmel. So I was saying, Lord, but can we build at Carmel? Because I knew we had to build, I knew there had to be construction. Can we build at Carmel? And I again stopped for a traffic light, and a truck pulled up next to me, and I'm not obviously making this up. I looked to the truck on the right side, and on the side of the truck it said Carmel Construction.
Oh, come on.
The exact same, Carmel.
And that's not
right.
That's not God winking. That is being hit in the face with a 2x4.
And when he has somebody kind of as slow and as doubtful as me, I think he sometimes gives clear signals. So
then what's the big switch moment? Is there an affirmation? Is there something like the Mount Carmel license plate?
So I said, God, I need good Catholic fellowship. I don't even know what fellowship meant. I was like, I need that. I think that means friends.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. So I'm walking out of church one day. Here's your God moment. What? The God moment? Yeah, my God
moment.
I'm
looking for.
That you're looking for. So I'm walking out of church. 2 weeks I had been asking the Lord, not crazy, but Lord, I need good Catholic fellowship, using that exact phrase. And a girl taps me on the shoulder, who's now a good friend of mine named Janelle, 20 years later. She taps me on the shoulder, and I kind of turn around. I was there by myself, didn't know anybody. And she says, excuse me. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, are you interested in good Catholic fellowship? No. And I was like, yes, I am.
Wow.
So that was the moment.
There we go.
That was it. So then I was like, when she said that phrase, I was like, this is impossible.
Impossible coincidence.
Come on. So
we can wrap it up right now because we got what we need.
Yeah, that's all we need.
We don't need anything else.
Yeah.
This has been great.
So go.
So then was a girl named Janelle, who's now married with a bunch of kids, lives in Buffalo, and there was a great group of people. So
she introduced you to.
She introduced me to this great group of friends, and it was in getting people who were faithful. I'd never met 22, 21, 23-year-old kids who were super faithful and loved the Lord and really fun and cool to be around. And I'm like, this is an answer to prayer. And that was a huge game changer for me. So the starting the football thing, getting to meet these friends. My buddy Dre was a wide receiver, ended up playing for the Chicago Bears. They would put us up in a hotel. So me and Dre used to get nervous before practice, and I did too. So we'd listen to Yolanda Adams, and there's this great gospel music, and we'd pray. And so the football thing, the praying with Dre thing, the friends, something's going on, and it's changing my life. It's like, was it coincidence that I roomed with Dre? It wasn't. It's God's providence that I roomed with Dre. So he was a huge influence on my conversion as well.
Most of the time when we're doing these interviews, right, these podcasts, people can't put their finger on that walk that you just went through. This happened, led to this, to the friends, led to this. And that's what we're trying to get across to everyone. If you want to have that feeling, be open to those situations. We always like to say in Emmaus, open mind, open heart.
Yeah.
You got to be looking for it, and then it comes to you because it's always there.
Yeah.
Is that do you find that to be correct?
That's right. Incorrect? That's right. And you guys are great examples of that to me. To be honest, not patronizing. It's the song, right? The old praise and worship. It's like, "Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. I want to see you." And it's Pope Benedict has this quote that I love. He said, "Only where God is seen does life truly begin. Only when we meet the living God in Christ do we know what life is." So it's like He's here. Like He's here. And so I'm not going to see Him by squinting a little harder, right? It's like I'm not going to see Him in the bark of the tree, but He's present. And so we have to be taught a different way of seeing. And we would call that the supernatural sense. We have our senses.
Yes, yes.
And often we can encounter God through them, but there's a supernatural sense that allows us to see Him, to hear Him.
Although I saw him in the bark of that tree when we were coming around the corner over
there. There you go.
Just so you know.
There you go. You have brown hair flowing down. Yeah.
Well, that is probably the most important part of everything that we're trying to do, where you've just laid out how people can get where you got to from where you were. How I got to from where well, you kind of know my story. You know, I was the same guy. I was overwhelmed with good.
Yeah.
And still had that giant hole.
Yeah.
And then I met you, and I went to that retreat, which, you know, people are tired of hearing about by now.
No.
But that's where we hooked up, and I go into confession, which I hated confession as well. I mean, what a dumb concept, confession. And I walk in, and there's one of my son's friends.
From high school.
Yeah, we went, what?
Oh, it's hilarious because
I think I would have ran out.
I was going to say, I'm surprised you didn't say.
Remember, I'm fully atheist. I walk in and I'm thinking,
no,
there's no way.
I don't think I could confess to like one of my son's high school buddies. I mean,
well, it was we talked about that, you know, and then there was many other situations that way. But that's what we're trying to get across out there. How when you're open to it, and you're with the right people, and you're reading scripture, or you're doing some of the right thing, you're going to mass, or you're going to church, you know?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, you guys, again, not to blow you guys up, but you're really good examples of this. I think there's this idea out there that I'm going to go have my fun and then I'll do the God thing. That's really the trap I fell into. You know, Billy Joel, like, I'd rather laugh with the sinners than cry with the saints. So you know, sometimes you walk into church, you see stained glass of holy people, of our saints, and they look really miserable. And it's like, the saints are the ones who are most fully alive. So it's like, God is not interested, and again, I'm preaching to the choir, He's not interested in anything but us coming to fullness of life. So it's like, there's this idea out there that people will say to me sometimes, "Oh yeah, Father Joe, I'll follow God, but let me go have some fun first." It's like, but you don't have a clue. Like, the understanding, if you only knew, if I only knew, if somebody would have grabbed me and said, "Hey, Freedy," and my buddy Dre kind of did that. He was a John the Baptist to me. Like, dude, I see you like partying and doing all this stuff. And he saw me. And he's like, but I know you're hurting. And I was kind of like, "Oh, yeah, you know, push, oh, yeah, right, buddy." I walked away from Dre. It was like the second time we met. And I was like, he got me. He saw me. And I was kind of like, I think one of the best things we have for kind of evangelization today is like, the other way is not working. You know, it's like if the promiscuity and the party life and the I live for me, and if that was like working and everybody was, then I'd say, wow. But it's like, it's
all
just,
these rock stars wouldn't die young.
It's just constantly proven that that's not the way. So it's like, Jesus says, "I'm the way." So I'm kind of like, because my parents planted the truth in my heart, you know, so long ago, it was like, it was there. I had just turned really far away from it and was living like a pagan. And then a few things happened that changed my life. one thing happened was before I was a starting quarterback, I wasn't even part of the team. I was, but I was the 5th string quarterback. And then you guys have heard me share this, but it's a funny story. So when I was the 4th string quarterback, 5th string quarterback, then 4th string quarterback, I didn't even care about football. I was there on a free ride. I'm like, whatever. Like, I'm getting to go to school for free. I'm on a football team. I feel like I'm cool. You know,
I feel like
and then a few weeks before our first game, we might have been playing Akron. We were playing James Harrison, and he played for Kent State. And the starting quarterback got transferred out, and then we had a scrimmage. Our team played our team, so there were 2 quarterbacks ahead of me. I was now 4th string down to 3rd string. I didn't even know the plays. And the starter drops back the pass, and he throws an interception. It's practice, so he shouldn't have went to tackle the guy. Goes to tackle the guy, blows his shoulder out. So all of a sudden, I go from 4th string to 3rd string to 2nd string. And, most guys would be like, I'm going to play. I was like, oh, no, I'm not playing. Like, this is going to be pretty trouble.
I haven't practiced this.
Yeah, and my other buddy drops back to pass, and he goes to throw deep, and somebody grabbed his arm from behind, tears his rotator cuff. So I go from 4th to 3rd to 2nd to 1st string. And
what year in school is this now?
This is I started for 3 years, so that I got redshirted. So this would have been my redshirt sophomore year.
Okay.
So, the coaches are like panicked, like not Freedy, like we can't start this kid.
Freedy?
Yeah. So, they were trying there was a buddy of mine, Drew Haddad, who ended up in the NFL. But he was a wide receiver, and they're like, can we make him a quarterback? So I ended up starting, for 3 years. And I don't think I ever not started a game in those 3 years.
What was the first game like? When you go, what was your first snap like? How did that feel?
It went okay.
Oh, it did?
That was
you felt comfortable?
I don't know if I felt comfortable, but we didn't get blown out. So it was like the coaches were like, game? Maybe Freedy can. No, we didn't win the game. We didn't win a game all year. But it didn't go so bad that it was like, okay, he's gone. It went good enough to say, well, let's give him another shot, and then another shot, and another shot, and another shot. And that turned into 3 years. And maybe 3-1 games total, but it was like a grow-up moment. You're talking about these God moments. It's like in God, I always joke and say God hurt all the other quarterbacks in front of me, which is not true. But it's like, sometimes we're looking for God in the dramatic. Again, we're at Mount Carmel. Elijah heard him in the still whispering wind, and he does do the dramatic. But in a certain sense, it's like, is this not dramatic enough? Like, is a cliff falling into a river with a beautiful sun, the most beautiful pines you've ever... Like, is this...
Not enough.
Right. One of my speakers says, Chris Stefanik always says, people are looking around the world and they go, where is God? And he says they're looking around and they go, how about everywhere?
I like that one.
But for me, he used the circumstances of my life. It wasn't lightning bolt from heaven. It was... I now had to grow up a little bit, which I'm still trying to do. I was now the starting quarterback. I wasn't, again, this wasn't Alabama, but people knew who I was. I had to lead a team. I was just a total goofball before. And so what the Lord did was
gave you some responsibility.
Yeah,
time to grow up.
Through this maturity, or through this little bit of responsibility, it was like, you got to grow up. So it got me thinking. That wasn't like, I better get my life turned around, It was like, well, now I'm going to use being the starting quarterback to live even more like a beggar. But it was like you said. It was like, this growing up of the heart that got me thinking more deeply, like about how I was living, because I wasn't thinking. I think a lot of times in our high schools and our colleges, part of the job is just to get us to think like, is this really the right way to go? Is this a fulfilling life? Because we just start living, and like this stream right here, the stream of our culture right now is not leading to virtue, especially in college. So it's like you jump in the stream and you're going to be led a certain way, and that was me. But this is a great tree up here. The kids call this the hugging tree, because the little ones always love so much to see. How many kids does it take to get around the tree?
Angela, why don't you get out here and hug the tree? We'll take a video. We'll take a video of you hugging the tree. George Washington probably hugged the tree. Look at Angelo. He's hugging the tree.
The hugging tree.
We need a few more huggy, Angelo.
You gotta love the tree.
You're a regular Disney princess. That was beautiful.
Goodbye, hugging tree. Goodbye.
Grab onto your bar here. This will be a fun one.
Hang on. Nice.
That's my favorite hill, Jordan.
Is that what it is?
Isn't that a great hill? This thing's a tank.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm old. I don't have to apologize for peeing myself. It's just part of the deal.
Part of it, right? Getting into God's creation, right? I mean, the fun thing is when God created us, He put us in a garden. So it's like we always kind of wonder, why do we love nature so much? Why do we love getting back into gardens, and why is that something so important to us? Just it's kind of in our DNA, right? So when you're getting back into the nature and woods, I mean, not to be too theological, but it's like we're kind of getting back in touch with the natural environment we were created in. So all these, Bob, you were talking about, the different groups that have helped us out. This was a men's group from St. Aidan, St. Alphonsus that put these Stations of the Cross in, and we do very much rely on volunteers. We rely on people like yourself, people like Angelo that have different gifts. So we always need people. We need benefactors, obviously, but we really exist on volunteers, different groups coming up. So yeah, if anybody has a group that ever wants to come up, you want to do a retreat, obviously, but you want to do a work day and a retreat. Just had 35 guys from my parish come up, and they just did so much good work here.
What's the maximum you can accommodate?
You can
If you're doing a sleepover.
Yeah, inside you can sleep in bunks 75, but you can sleep more than that if you bring some sleeping bags and stuff. So this is really cool out here. A really neat space for prayer is we have these lean-tos.
So this is Eagles Landing. What's the story here, Father?
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure. These were lean-tos that they were using before, but what we love to do, use these, is hike out here in the summer, and then as it's getting dark, so have mass out here, and then dinner over the fire. Really cool. And then we've used these for Eucharistic adoration. So bring the Lord out, candles everywhere, fire going, guitar in the back, and it's just really glorious, and then everybody kind of packs up and
Oh, bet.
walks back that night.
You walk back.
Walk back.
How far is the walk back?
Not too far. Not too far. Less, I don't know, a few quarter mile, half mile.
Oh, that's cool.
Maybe half mile.
Oh, the walk back must be. A lot happens on the walk back.
Yeah, everybody's processing
heads,
everything.
yeah, processing it all.
And that's the cool thing. It's like the time. It was a little bit like you guys were saying, getting here. You kind of decompress. You get a chance to share a little bit. So, what happens is we go have these experiences. We call it adventure catechesis, right? So you're having fun and you're learning. But then you have a little time to walk to the next thing or do the next thing, and you're kind of processing what's going on, and that's when friendships starting to form and the kids getting to know each other, and so a lot of community happens when it doesn't feel like you're doing anything. It's like it happens.
You're doing everything.
Yeah, because look, we don't have our phones. We're just talking. We're just being kids. We're getting into the woods,
And you just don't have kids here. You have
adults. Yeah,
adult groups.
Yeah, any group. We have so many coming right now. It's been awesome.
How you doing for capital?
We're poor.
You can always use more, right?
Yeah, we're poor. And we've gotten some nice gifts. Nobody's ever given us nobody's given us $1 million or something like that. It'd be great. But we need a building. We need an indoor building to be able to house huge retreats like this.
It'd be helpful if there was a contractor that wanted to build a building, help
Yeah.
out in that way.
Yeah, so many people have stepped forward to help, and we're always, that's, as you guys know, retreat centers and camps aren't money makers. Nobody's in this for the money. So, yeah, we just rely so much. This is another God story for you, but we were having trouble with our well. I'm going to get the terminology wrong, but it's a very specific type of well. Let's call it like a wide well or something like that. we were having trouble with one of the wells, or it needed inspected, and we needed a structural engineer. And I'm like, okay, how do we get a structural engineer that has a specialty in wide wells? Whatever. We don't have any money, And volunteer day, I'm up here picking weeds with a woman and kind of clearing some stuff out and just chatting, Father Joe, tell me about yourself. And I said, yeah, what are you up to? And she says, oh, I'm still working. I said, oh, that's great. What do you do? And she says, I'm a structural engineer with a specialty in wide wells. Like, not kidding. Like, the exact, that was the wrong term, but it was the exact thing we needed. I'm like, you don't say, like, I'm going to need you. So, of course, she helped us out. I forget what group did this.
Ready, get in there. Ready?
1,
2, 3.
There it is.
Get it up. Oh.
Holy cow.
Man,
Special.
that puts so much more into perspective.
So what's it say here? It says Luke 9:23 is the scripture. And he was saying to them all, if anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. And boy, that's the story right there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's powerful. Even the John 15:35, greater love has no man than this. The idea of the group of guys that did this is, and to be honest, I've never really come over here and spent time with this, but it's powerful, isn't it?
No, it's really powerful. And I wonder if it's in the dimensions of what they believe was the original cross, because this brings whole new meaning to me today of falling 3 times.
Right.
What it was like when Simon of Cyrene went to help. Can you imagine? He's in the crowd, laying here, this cross is laying down. He comes in,
And they make him.
and they make him carry the cross. And that's another story of working together. That's another one of the same theme we're talking about, right?
Yeah,
It's just amazing to see, like, the weight of it took us to get it up.
right.
Yeah, we think about the cross
We
like, so what?
didn't even pick it up the whole
No,
way.
no,
Pick it
no.
up the whole way,
No.
and
Can you imagine dragging that thing along?
And how high he was off the ground.
And what you said, Jordan, and you're getting whipped and belittled and spit.
Right.
And you're fully naked. In those days, you were fully naked. There was a loincloth. It was shame.
Still being,
Yeah, whoever did this is, man, you got to have whole lessons around this floor.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize it till I came over today.
That's about as powerful as it gets.
Yeah.
You don't realize that somebody's helping you.
You ready? Let's go.
1, 2.
Wow.
You got it.
We got it.
Wow. Awesome. Back down.
Yeah.
Pretty heavy?
Good Lord.
Heavy enough.
Because nobody. You don't want to show your wounds. You don't want to show your weakness. I'm a man, like you said. I'm the man.
Well, you gotta-
I don't want anybody to see I'm weak and that I have wounds and that I'm hurting and that I
Particularly
need
in
God.
Western Pennsylvania. I mean, you
Yeah.
grow up.
Yeah.
You better just suck it up.
Yeah, and how cool is it that, more than cool, but that's a word, Jesus shows up after the resurrection, and what's the first thing he shows? His wounds. It's not, it's like, how do we recognize? We recognize people from their faces.
Boy, I never thought about that one.
I never
Until
did
this
either.
minute. I never thought about that.
So he didn't say, hey guys, it's me. He said, it's me. And so what he's saying, and to get a little preachy, is,
Really?
Hey, too late. Man.
Yeah, too late for that. Like,
We're
should
in
have shut the
now.
camera down an hour ago. It's like, I know you have wounds, and I have wounds too, but your wounds, Joe, aren't the big story. It's like my love is the big story. And I know our wounds sometimes don't, it's like my wounds, my insecurity, I'm so nervous about something I have to do tomorrow, some talks, I'm so anxious. But it's like, that seems like the big story to me, but it's not. The big story is his love and his grace and his faithfulness. And if I put my wounds into his wounds, they no longer are a place of shame. they can be redeemed, right? As we've all experienced and are constantly experiencing.
So why is it so hard to surrender to God? We know that's what we have to do. Why is it so hard, Father?
That's the question. That's the question. I don't know.
Like, I know that that's what we're supposed to do.
Right.
And the fact that you don't know is a beautiful thing, because
Well, that kind of scares me a little bit.
I wish I had a here's the answer.
and what people have said to us, and you can address this because of what you've gone through and who you are and how you got here. They'll say, hey, Angela, hey, Bob, we watched some of the shows.
Yeah.
But you guys are all in the choir,
Yeah.
and, you know, you're not me, and I can't, because you're already there, and how am I sure that this is, and that's a hard question to answer at times, right?
Yeah.
But the answer is exactly what you went through, and he went through, and I went through, and he went through.
Yeah.
He has an amazing story about all the stuff that he went through in order to get here, you know? So how do we communicate that we're not these wonderful, holy people?
If anybody knows us for more than 5 seconds, it's like spend 5 minutes with any four of us, and you'll find out real quick.
And
It's
so
like,
many people think everybody in the church is like when I went to the retreat, I thought, oh man, these guys are going to judge me, and and they stood up and applauded when I said, hey man, I'm an atheist, and they stood up and applauded and said, you're the only honest guy in the room. That's what they.
Well,
so I stayed.
Yeah, what'd they say to Pope? You know, what Pope Francis say when they asked him? So they were Jorge Bergoglio was his name, and they said, "Who is?" A reporter said, "Who is Jorge Bergoglio?" And he said, "I'm a sinner who's been saved by Christ." So it's like, I love Chesterton. He says, "We're all in the same boat, and we're all seasick." It's like we're just. You know, and I'm gonna be having great days and feel like I'm on top of the world, and you're gonna be down. And so it's like, but if we can kind of
lift each other up,
if we can, you know, to your Angela, you're saying this, you know, about we're all fighting these. But Plato had I feel like I'm
Go ahead.
a quote machine. I don't mean to be. I don't.
No, you are a quote machine.
But it's be kind. Because everyone you meet is fighting a great battle you can't see. My friend was driving home from somewhere, I'll tell you in a second where, and she didn't go at the stop sign fast enough. We've all experienced this. And a guy laid on the horn, gave her the middle finger, but she was coming home from her mom's funeral. Yeah. It's like, we don't know, you know? We don't know.
You just don't know.
Yeah, everybody's battling. And if you're not battling right now, it's like, give it 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, give it 5 minutes.
It'll be there.
It'll be there.
Yeah.
One of the themes we talked about, you know, on the show is that it seems like a lot of ego is the thing that keeps people away from getting to those points in their life. You know, we talked several times about, being afraid to come to somebody, you know, being afraid to tell somebody that you're hurting and stuff. And, you know, I'm afraid that if I confess that I've fallen, that people are going to think less of me. And like, I think that a lot of people forget Jesus himself fell. Yeah. You know, 3 times, you know, and I think when people get their ego out of the way of that, maybe they'll start to understand. Maybe you could talk about that.
And the second thing he did too on that direction is he went to a couple of guys on the road who were running. The second he could have done anything, we like to say at Emmaus. He could have gone and said, hey, I'm back. He could have taken over the world. He goes to 2 guys that are in fear of their life potentially, walking away from it and makes himself, that's like the second thing he did. He could have done anything. Why did he do that? And that's what you're talking about. We got to be there for each other.
And Jordan, I love what you said. It's like, and Bob, you're saying this, the word vulnerable comes from a word vulnere, which means to be wounded. And so there is no communion without vulnerability. But if I know I can be hurt, and we learn when we're kids, I've been hurt, so I'm going to start covering up. Well, by the time you've got, so it's like, I'm not letting that happen to me again, because that really hurt. So to be in a position to be able to, like, why can I share with you guys so openly? Because I know you too have faced your brokenness, and I know you're the kind of guys that are able to receive me, and it's going to be okay, and it's like you're going to love me, and you're not going to judge me, and you might say a challenging word, you might say the encouraging word, whatever it's going to be. And this is what I found with Emmaus. There is this isn't a promo, but it's just honest. There is a community and a fraternity of men being vulnerable with each other, unlike any other organization I've ever seen in the church. Because it's like we're just all kind of here together. We're all broken. We're all trying to seek after the truth. And just so you know, you have a brother with me, and you can call me on it. This is crazy. I've never done Emmaus. You guys have invited me to do it 4,000 times. I've gone and done confessions for it, walked through a lot of it before. I know I could call anybody in Emmaus, and they'd be there for me. I just know it.
And they know that you'll be there for them as well.
Amen. And that's invaluable.
You know what you said to me once that was stuck with me forever? I was doing that little Road from Emmaus thing, and you said, hey, Bob, why don't you start that Road from Emmaus thing down here at Holy Child? Because, and here's the cool part, he said, people will talk to you, meaning other guys, before they'll talk to a priest. And you guys, as friends, you can do things differently and more than we can do, because a lot of guys won't go to the priest because they're ashamed or afraid or whatever the story is. Yeah. And that's what started, Father. Yeah. That's what started that whole thing, was that comment.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like you guys can get places I can't, and I can get places you can't. And I think we all have a role. And it's like nobody in God's plan is unimportant. Nobody. Pope Leo is not more important than me or you or anybody else. There's a very, different responsibility. That's true. But if I don't play the role that God has given me to play, nobody else. It's unique to me. So it's like we all have such a part to play in the body of Christ, and it's like these men's groups where guys can come and know, oh, I can be real here. It's just, I get together with guys every Saturday.
Open and honest.
Open and honest. It's awesome.
And nobody's going to ridicule you for it. In fact, they're going to invite it, because that's the way they get their self out as well, right?
And isn't life it's like life is, not obviously the whole point of what we're talking about is that we don't have it all together, but life is kind of too short. Like, wait, I have one life, and I'm going to spend it kind of putting on airs. I'm going to spend it trying to get everybody to think that it's like, really?
Wearing a mask. I want to show you who I really am.
Yeah, it's like, or we could just really love each other and have great relationships. It's like, we could do that.
Well, he's as honest and insulting as you are.
Wow. That's a compliment to me.
Yeah, he's insulting. So he's just, the truth. So I want to volunteer, right, to help out some kids at Holy Child, right? And I say, hey, Father. He said, what are you doing here, Bob? Because they were young kids, right? They were teenage kids. And I'm thinking I'm 29 years old. And meanwhile, I'm 67 at the time, right? And he says...
So that was what, like 20 years ago?
It was 30 years ago.
Need to get...
Just checking, Jordan.
Yeah, so Jordan, so he says to me, you're kind of a grandfathery guy. And you did. You said,
That's great.
But maybe the kids, they got grandfathers, and maybe you'll fit in.
They'll relate to you that way.
So I just turned around, walked out the door.
No, you left.
I didn't realize that I was like toward the end of the yardstick. But of course,
that's hilarious.
Father Joe, really helpful. You're old, Bob. You're going to die pretty soon. You better,
Might as well get some mentoring.
Might as well get to it,
I think the thing that's so you guys did it today is coming up and seeing the place and spreading the word about it. We have so many groups and retreats and high school and older. Every type of group is starting to come up, which I'm just so excited about it. Somebody said it's the best kept secret in the diocese, and I'm like, well, let's not make it a secret.
Yeah.
So the idea, I think, is spreading the word, and you guys are helping with that so much. But yeah, really grateful. Super happy to spend the time.
We need volunteers.
Yeah, always
We
volunteers.
need donations.
Yeah.
We need equipment.
Yeah.
We need people with expertise in developing the land.
We kind of need everything.
We kind of need a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So
And for that, people get not only their spiritual experience, but they can have a retreat at the same time up here.
yeah, there's a million different things. The best thing, we've got great people running it. So Jeff Hand is our operations director. Paul Uni's our executive director. So the Dry Bones website and the Our Lady of Mount Carmel camp website, they all have all the information, and we're just more and more people are getting interested. The word's spreading more and more, and it's just fun. As you guys have experienced, you come up and see it, and you kind of go, "This place is awesome."
Oh, it's awesome.
So-
Is our Emmaus brother Jim Zern still involved with this, or what's Jim do?
Jim has been doing so much for the past years to keep this place going, and his reward will be great in heaven, because it's it's not much on earth. We know that. So yeah, he's done so much.
A lot here.
All right, we'll let you go. We appreciate your time.
Father.
And
Peace.
let's see what happens, all right?
Yep, gift to be with you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me, Jordan. Thanks
you.
for spending
Thanks.
the time.
Thank you.